Hey there, it's Ben from Pattern Profits bringing you the top setups video. We're looking at Roblox RBLX. What we have here is a descending trend line coming down off of the high, tagged here, price pushed right up against it on Friday. When we discuss pocket pivots, we're talking about the highest volume over the last 10 sessions. We see that over the last 2 days, both Thursday and Friday, big volume coming in. The idea here is to get this back in the wick here, and then you have an early entry for a push through this 90-95 breakout level. If we should see that strength and push through this trend line, then you use these levels below. The clouds will turn up. You have anchored VWAP, that's this blue line and this blue line. You have those acting as support below. So the idea is that you're coming in early, should get a push through that 90-95. Next stop would be up here 94.39 and then 103.87 above that. So getting in down in this area and then using this area to manage your risk. I prefer to use my exits on a closing basis. So any close below this level right in here would take me out. Let's also take a look at OSUR, Orashore. This is another one that had a big day pocket pivot on Friday. Again, a pocket pivot is the big volume like you see here, highest in 10 days. You have this big descending trend line that dates back, what is that? Dates back to August of last year, and that descending trend line price is right up against it after tagging it several times. So what you're looking for is for that continuation through that descending trend line. Price over Friday's high would do that. And then I mentioned in the newsletter full time frame continuity, FTFC. What that means is that this stock is green on the monthly, the weekly, the daily, and the 60-minute. They're all green. That's something that happens when we see considerable strength. So I also mentioned with this one, let's zoom in a little bit, the power of three setup. And power of three is when these moving averages, this cloud gets real tight. The 10 here, the top of the green, the 20, the bottom of the green, and the 50, the top of the blue. When they get real tight like that, that area tends to act as support. So any pullback would see this area turn up, act as support, and you look for that to push the price higher. If this level should fail, if this cloud should fail and we get a close below that, that's your signal to exit. That's how I approach these. I also mentioned 1020 cloud has acted like support in the past. That's this green as you see here. Price tends to respect this on the rise on the way up, and that's what I'm referring to when I say 1020 cloud acting as prior support and a history of acting as prior support. Let's go over to Ntla. This is a power earnings gap setup. This big volume and this gap right here, going back to late June, early July, new highs here, and has gone sideways since. We often refer to, when you have a big run like this and then it goes sideways, we refer to that as a flag. Usually that means a gain of 100% or more. In addition to that, we have the power earnings gap, which is this day right here. We attach anchored VWAP to that. This is a volume weighted average price from day one. Price above shows buyers in control, price below sellers in control. You see how we've kind of danced around that. I mentioned VCP, that stands for Volatility Contraction Pattern. This was made famous by Mark Minervini. And what that is you have a series of cups and they get smaller and less volatile with each one, and you see volume dry up along the way. What that means is big buyers came in here. They're in no hurry to sell. You see volume drying up as the sellers, what sellers are left exhaust, and then we usually get a breakout. So you're looking for that breakout above 178 on big volume. That would be the entry trigger. And then using this trend line, and then like we usually talk about the MA clouds as support. Failure of any of that, failure of anchored VWAP, all of those, especially on a closing basis, can be used as an exit to manage risk. One more, AFRM, Affirm Holdings. Power earnings gap here. This was a beauty on big volume. That followed news with a big gap over here. I mentioned how anchored VWAP from this gap failed, but the 10 MA cloud held as support. That's what you see right here. And then you had the big bounce on the earnings report on Friday. What we look for now is the buyers, if they're going to be really aggressive, they'll come after it and take out that 126.46 level into new highs. What we like to do is attach an anchored VWAP to this candle, just like we did right here on the day of the gap, and then use that level to help manage risk, at least until the 1020 cloud catches up to price. So I hope this helps make sense of the top setups that we're looking at into next week. I will be over on FinTwit. If there's any questions, you can holler at me there. Have a great day.